I'm very happy today to be introducing to you Alicia Boateng. Her husband Edward wasn't able to be with us, but we'll be talking about him on this interview as well. They recently published an article in Authority magazine called Lessons from a Thriving Power Couple. And believe me, power couple is the right term for this couple. I know I'm not going to say enough, but Edward has many awards and is highly recognized for his work in real estate and commercial insurance. You can read more about his accomplishments if you go to Authority magazine and read the article. Alicia is an experienced entrepreneur. She's made it her mission. I love this. Her mission to inspire and empower other minorities to pursue impactful leadership positions. Much more is listed in their article on Authority magazine. I recommend that you read it. Alicia, thank you for being with me today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, my privilege. You said that you were both resolute in your vision to elevate your business beyond the conventional standards. Where does that drive come from?
I think it comes from combining both our corporate backgrounds together. We are a blended family.
Okay.
So when we met in 2014. Of course, my husband has the insurance background. He's had very high positions within that industry. I too come from being a business owner. I was a wedding and event planner for over 20 years. I've worked in luxury hospitality and so forth. So bringing those two factors together, combining that, it was a no-brainer that we immediately, literally after a month of meeting each other, I said, okay, we're going to, I said, God, this is in your way. This is in your hands. Uh,
Uh-huh.
we're going to create a Botang Enterprises, and then whatever happens from there happens from there. So we did that with the idea of having that be like the umbrella, and then building underneath the umbrella.
Okay.
And that's exactly what we've been able to do.
Very impressive, and it happened very quickly. You
It did
must.
happen very quickly, but we figured, listen, we're in our 30s.
Uh-huh.
We've had experience, so I don't know. At this point, like I said, it's up to God and whatever he feels right.
You both knew what you wanted, right?
Absolutely.
I love that you do not share your vacations on social media. What prompted that boundary?
We had worked so hard to get to that vacation in Napa. And, to the point where we knew we wanted to go there and I didn't plan anything, which is so unlike me because I am such a planner. I have to
Uh,
plan literally from the minute we wake up to the minute we go to sleep.
okay.
And we went there because we both love Camus. And
Hmm.
that was our purpose. Like we wanted to go and visit Camus. And then we kind of took the approach that whatever happens after happens after. And once we got there, we flew into San Francisco. We immediately drove over to Napa. And it was something that we had never experienced before. We had the opportunity to experience it together. And I think that just that particular reason was why, okay, we're going to keep this to ourselves. So the funny story to that is that, the next day we did have a reservation for Camus. I said, again, after we go to Camus, we can go wherever you want to. And our specific wine that we love is the Red Conundrum. So we
Hmm.
get there, we're all, hey, how are you? Really happy about it. And the waitress goes to us, oh, are you ready for your tasting? I said, yes, I can't wait to get, to taste the Red Conundrum at in Camus. She goes, oh no, that's not part of the taste.
Oh, no.
I said, listen, I came all the way from Miami
Yes.
to taste this. And
Yeah.
she was such a doll. She actually went and opened up a bottle for us and just, made it an incredible experience. And I think from that moment on, we just decided we are not going to share this on social media. We're going to take as many pictures as we can and enjoy it to ourselves. And to this day, we haven't really shared anything from that vacation.
You just let yourself relax into the flow.
Absolutely. And again, that it was a very comical vacation because we end up running to one of my vendors that I used to use during my wedding planning time in one of the stores that was there. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Uh-huh.
We had to come all the way over here to find, to see each other. So I thought that was hilarious too. But it was an amazing experience. And we were able to reconnect again because having four children at the house obviously can be very chaotic. And teenage years is just insane. So the
Mm-hmm.
fact that we were able to reconnect during that time is what really made it most memorable.
We share that experience. My late husband and I were also a blended family. We had five
Mhm.
children between us.
Wow.
You said that well, let me jump down to something else. You complement each other perfectly, you say. So, what do you each contribute that creates that balance, that complement?
Well, first and foremost, we always match. So everywhere we go, we match
In your dress, you mean?
in our dressing.
Oh
Yes.
gosh, how fun.
Yes. In the real estate industry, we're known as the fashionista realtors. And it's because we always match, we always make a statement. Again, that's part of our brand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely one way that we complement each other. And we just bounce a lot of ideas back and forth, in a conversation on, especially on like listing agreement, listing appointments and so forth. My
Mm-hmm.
husband is he can come across as well, he is very serious. He's very analytical. I'm the like, hey, let's go party.
Okay. Okay.
So that definitely balances each other out. I very often interrupt him.
Okay.
But we do complement each other in that way.
Sounds very good. You highly recommend open and transparent communication.
Yeah.
Do you set aside specific times to catch up with each other, or does it just happen on the go?
A lot of times it happens on the go. We definitely do try to schedule times so that we can actually sit down and discuss what's going on. However, our businesses are so, uh, I guess, to a certain point intertwined that
Okay.
we find ourselves talking about business throughout the day. So early on, when we first started with our businesses, it would be 9 o'clock at night and we're still talking business. So what we've agreed to now is at a certain time, we just cut off that conversation and we now focus on whether it's the kids or watching a movie together or keeping up with the news or whatever it is that we can do together as a couple.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's really what has saved us.
Well, my next question was going to be, is all the communication about business, or how do you maintain the emotional connection between the two of you?
It's hard to do that, especially when all the kids were at home because there were so many moving parts
Mm-hmm.
that we had to control. But again, he has his things that he likes to do. Like his thing is to make sure that I have my coffee ready in the morning because my
Oh,
coffee time for me is sacred.
mm-hmm.
There is absolutely no negotiation. It's not negotiable.
Okay.
So I need to wake up, early enough so that I can have my coffee, I can have my time to manifest, I can, pray, all of that
Mm-hmm.
stuff that I need to get myself ready for the day.
Mm-hmm.
So that time is not negotiable. And so for him, it's important to have my coffee ready so that all I need to do is just push
Okay.
that button.
Okay.
Little things like that. Of course, with a marriage, there's always, give and take and the husband maybe gives more than the wife or vice versa and so forth. So it's a constant, I wouldn't say battle because it's not a battle, but
Balancing
but
act, perhaps?
yeah, that's the perfect word. That's the perfect
Okay.
phrase. I think it's a perfect balancing act. We both help each other out with whatever we need to help each other with.
Mm-hmm.
And we make it work, Nancy. We really do. We just make it work.
Every power couple that I've interviewed has certain non-negotiables. And it's different for every couple, but there are some things, once they're set in motion, They're non-negotiable, and you both know that, and that helps keep the foundation under you. Is that correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. For me, my coffee is non-negotiable. I've been drinking the same brand for over 32 years.
Wow.
Yes, and I'm very loyal.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And that my love for coffee is really what it's how Alicia Boating Designs was born, because
Mm-hmm.
that's how I started creating the cups. Because as I was having coffee with him one morning, I said, if my coffee cup was as enriching as my coffee is, it would
Mm-hmm.
make my whole experience that much better. And then I immediately
Oh,
started writing down how I wanted my coffee cup to make me feel.
okay.
I often share this story because it's not something that you automatically think when you're thinking of a coffee cup.
Yes.
You're thinking, okay, just grab the first coffee you see, the first cup that you see, and just get it going, right? Um, and that's really the message behind my cups, is how I wanted my cups to make other women feel.
I love that story. And I have a sister and a daughter-in-law that are both rabid about their coffee. You know, certain brands, even a certain coffee maker that they
I'm not
love.
that picky for the coffee maker, but I'm definitely picky about my brand. It gives me that comforting feeling that you
Okay.
need. And
Okay.
yeah, I definitely put a lot of thought into my coffee.
Okay. One of those routines that helps you start the day just the way you want to.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
you definitely prioritize quality time with each other. Are those things you put on your calendar, or how do you maintain the priority of spending time together as a romantic couple?
Well, for us, because of the fact that we work together and we're literally together 24/7, the
Mm-hmm.
times that we are together, we try to intertwine the personal time together, if that
Okay.
makes sense. Like, let's say, for example, we have to attend, because he is on the board of directors for the Miami Association of Realtors. We often have a lot of real estate related events that we need to attend. And
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, they're either in late in the afternoon, or luncheon events and so forth like that. So we kind of make that like our date time.
Okay.
We're working and still having time to compliment each other in that sense, and just make the best of it, really.
Okay. Okay. I noticed that you encourage each other to evolve and adapt separately. So what does that look like with you and Edward?
My husband is always pushing me.
Okay.
I may not always like it, but I
Mm-hmm.
know that it comes from a good place. And I know that he means well and he wants
Mm-hmm.
the best of me for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so that I often battle with that, because sometimes his delivery is not the best.
Okay.
And I have to like remind myself that it's coming from a good place. So
Yes.
that's definitely a challenge.
Yes.
um you know when it comes to him, there may be things that he may have forgotten or just missing out and so forth, so then I'm there to obviously fill in the blanks, per
Mm-hmm.
se.
And do you have like personal coaches or business coaches or things that you do separately for personal growth, or is that just something that you inspire in each other?
I'm so glad that you asked that question, because we are each other's coach. I
Okay.
and I'll tell you why. When I was a wedding and event planner, I started my business when I was 18 years old.
Wow.
And I incorporated it when I was 21 years old.
Uh-huh.
So for me, back then, we're talking 1997, the resources that are available today were definitely not available at that time.
Yes.
So I wasn't able to log on to Google and learn about wedding planning, and
Mm-hmm.
or go to YouTube or anything like that. So I literally had to like either go to the library or go to the bookstores, buy the books, do the
Mm-hmm.
research, do the reading, and kind of like coach myself as to how I
Mm-hmm.
was going to present myself to these clients, because
Mm-hmm.
at that age I knew that I wanted affluent clients. I wanted
Mm-hmm.
$100,000 weddings, and that's what I was going to focus on. And the fact that I
Gosh,
was 21
brave
years old,
lady.
Yes. The fact that I was 21 years old at the time, I always had to act older than what I was. I had to
Mhm.
really sound like I knew what I was talking about and so forth. So that was me coaching myself.
Yes,
Really, I
right.
did not have a mentor. No one in my family had ever been a business owner. And my grandmother, I do have to praise my grandmother because she was very influential in my life. And unfortunately, she wasn't around for too much, but the fact that she was an immigrant, she brought her family from Cuba, I didn't know the language, all that history that comes with that,
Mhm.
she was able to share her bits and pieces of her story that actually make me strong, the woman that I am today.
So she gave you a legacy of dreaming big, it sounds
Absolutely.
like. And how,
Absolutely. I often I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. I
no,
often
go
try to
ahead.
put myself in her shoes
Mm-hmm.
because if I had to pick up and leave right now with my
Mm-hmm.
family and go to a country where I did not know the language, I didn't know the rules
Mm-hmm.
and regulations, I didn't know, their traditions or anything like that, I don't know if I would, have the strength that's needed to continue, you
It
know?
takes, I can only imagine the amount of fortitude that it takes. Bless your
Absolutely.
grandmother
Yes.
and for the example that she gave you.
Mm-hmm.
But where did the big dream of not only being a wedding planner, but being a wedding planner for highly affluent people, where did that come from?
I always dreamed that whole princessy feel. I love
Mm-hmm.
Disney. In my mind, I live in Disney, that type of deal
Mm-hmm.
from a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole magic feel, I knew that that's what I wanted to recreate. And I knew that in order to recreate that, money had to back it up.
Yes, it certainly
And
does.
exactly. And, that's not to say that, of course, there were times where I did take weddings that were less than $100,000 and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
What there were definitely no, what I did not budge on
Mm-hmm.
were down here in South Florida, were in the Hispanic community. It's called the quinces, which is when the girl turns 15. It's
Yes.
really right. So the quinces and the sweet 16s, I was not budging on that, and that definitely had to be $150,000 and up,
Wow.
just because of like everything that goes into it. You have to now think
Mm-hmm.
of 32 kids, teenagers that you're dealing with, plus their
Yes.
parents, and coordinating all of that, and that
Yes.
was it was a lot of work.
It
So I
sounds like an
knew that,
enormous amount of
yes,
work.
yes. And so most of the ones that I had, within that price range had like
Mm-hmm.
celebrities performing at their parties and so forth. It was
Mm-hmm.
that level.
Gosh, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with your level of dreaming and the strength that you had to set that kind of goal and boundary and stick to it.
Yes.
It's when
And it,
we,
it it all has to do with who you surround yourself with too, because obviously, when I first started in the industry, I had no idea which florists I had to go
mm-hmm,
to, or it was through research and networking
mm-hmm,
that I was able to identify the type of vendors that I wanted to associate myself with and then carry it on. Because, when you're an entrepreneur, you're not a solo entrepreneur. You have a team that you're
yes,
surrounded with that helps build you up. And
yes.
so we've applied that same thought process in all of our businesses.
Who we hang out with really determines the outcome, doesn't it?
And I'm so glad you said that because my grandmother used to say that in Spanish all the time. And it's
Okay.
And it's dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. Literal translation is tell me who you're hanging out with and I'll tell you who you are.
Oh, that is so true. And I love those words. It gave me goosebumps. Gave me goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that your son Caleb passed away some time ago. What lessons did you learn from being Caleb's parent?
Well, yes, that, like I said, blended family. He's from
Mm-hmm.
my husband's
Okay.
marriage, and he was 21 years old, and it
Mm-hmm.
happened in February of 2023.
Okay. Just not that
So
long ago.
not that long ago at all. And so he was a football player. When he graduated at 17 years old, and Clemson selected him
Mm-hmm.
to go play football over there. So he was there. He was there during the time of COVID, which was very challenging, especially for teenagers.
Yes.
Um, and so, it was so many factors for him at that age. He had just graduated, he's going to a new place, no family nearby. I mean, my sister-in-law probably lives about an hour and a half away from Clemson, but still,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that COVID hit, he had to be secluded and all of that stuff. That's a lot of things to take care of
Yes.
your brain, even
Yes.
an adult. So I can only imagine as a child. And so him and my husband, they bonded over football for many, many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
So, when this situation happened, I it was, I mean, it still is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
It's still unbelievable. Um, my little one, which is my little one, is 8 years old, and he's from my husband and I. And so he still cries about him to this day. And
Really.
it's something that, you learn to live with it, but you don't ever forget it.
I once heard that the grief doesn't have an ending. We just eventually tuck that grief away in a very special place in our heart
Yes.
where we visit it whenever we need to. But on
Yes.
the outside, it looks to everyone else like we've moved on.
Yep.
But
And I think that for a long time, a lot of especially our industry friends,
mhm,
it's like they wanted to ask how you're doing, but at the same time, they don't know how
right,
to react.
right.
And so we understood that. We
Hmm.
understood that. And just, our office, the warmth that they gave us during that time. I mean, we're with Keller Williams in Coral Springs, and they were just amazing,
Hmm.
amazing, amazing. To this day, they still are. And then, last year was an incredibly difficult year for us, incredibly difficult, as anyone would start the year off, with hopes and dreams, and
Yes,
you have all these goals that we wanted to reach, and
yes,
that we wanted to focus. And then, that's how we started January off, and then this happens early February. um,
yes,
and then obviously that put a standstill on everything that we had going on
right.
for last year. And then in May, my mom passes away
Oh
unexpectedly.
gosh.
So I'm like, wow, gosh, you must really think that I'm strong here. You're throwing things at me that I never imagined would happen,
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so that, my relationship with my mom was not the best.
Okay.
And so I still have a lot of things that I need to work on myself
Hmm.
when it comes to that.
Hmm.
But it was just unbelievable. I was like, my goodness, we could not wait for 2023 to be over. Like, we were just like, oh my gosh, let it be January 1st, 2024. And
Yes.
just, again, start the year with hope
Hmm.
and with, our faith. Our faith has
Hmm.
always been extremely important for us. And it's really been
Hmm.
the foundation of our marriage, because I
Yes.
strongly believe to go through to be in a blended family, you have to have faith.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you.
And so, we just dove in deeper
Hmm.
into our faith. And that's
Hmm.
really what's allowed us to continue.
So you not only have the bond of being in love with each other and having a business together, but you share your faith with each other.
Absolutely.
And I'm
Yeah.
so glad your office staff provided the emotional support that you needed to go through this.
Nancy, when I tell you that they were incredible, I mean, like the food, the cards, the deliveries, they didn't
Hmm.
stop for at least a good 2 months after that.
Hmm.
And just their just being there for us, just like coming over
Yes.
to visit and, not necessarily asking questions or anything, but just being
Hmm.
there. They were amazing. They still are amazing.
So many people in our American culture do not know how to deal with death. They don't want to talk about it. They feel uncomfortable. They care, but they don't know how to express it. So to be surrounded with people that aren't afraid to just take over and do what needs to be done is such a blessing.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it has a lot to do also with obviously the kind of people that we are.
Yes.
Because like I said, we're very loyal. We've been with this office for we've been in real estate for 9 years.
Hmm.
So I think we've been with this office close to 8 years.
Okay.
And so everyone knows us. We're high achievers within the
Hmm.
office. And we're friendly, we're genuine, we're
Hmm.
authentic, we're approachable, and
Hmm.
that matters. That makes a
Yes,
difference.
it does.
It makes a difference.
It's like you're investing in a bank account that then pays returns back to you.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And I think that people are able to pick up on that and are
Hmm.
able to see the type of people that we are. And when
Hmm.
this tragic news hit, again, they were all there for us.
So you obviously are very successful in your professions and you have quite a big family, or big by some standards anyway. How do you measure success as parents?
I think that my husband, he used to always say that kids aren't born with a book, with a instructional book. I think we've done pretty well,
Hmm.
as well as we can possibly do.
Hmm.
Caleb was an aspiring NFL player. Our middle son, Andy, we got him into college. It was very difficult to get him into
Okay.
typical middle son syndrome, right?
Okay.
He figured out early on that college wasn't for him. So he's
Hmm.
still, trying to find his ways, and we're obviously
Hmm.
help him. Our daughter, she's at UCF, which is
Hmm.
amazing. She's doing wonderful. She's excelling in ways that I never even imagined.
Uh-huh.
And then our little one is just our ray of sunshine.
Yeah.
So I feel that we are doing the best that we can. Again,
Hmm.
always relying on our faith. And we make sure that they have a clear understanding that with God, you can do everything, and without Him, you can
Hmm.
do nothing.
The best we can do is simply the best we can do. My younger son knew pretty early that college wasn't for him. He found it kind of a circuitous route through to his profession. He actually went back and got his bachelor's and his master's degree when he was in his 40s.
Wow,
In
that's
it,
wonderful.
in addition to having a very successful career. So for our listeners today, I highly recommend that you read the entire article on Authority Magazine titled Lessons from a Thriving Power Couple. And how can they get in touch with you if they want to connect with you?
Well, for the real estate, they can go to our website, which is teamboateng, BOATENG.com. It's funny because one time I'm so
Uh-huh.
used to spelling it out that one time
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to the kids and I was like, "Oh, you can email me at Alicia," and I'm spelling it out. They're like, "Really?"
Okay,
I'm so used to spelling it out. And then for Alicia Boateng, they can go to aliciaboateng.com. And there they
wonderful.
can see my cups, and they can learn, if they're interested in learning more about branding, they can certainly read it up there.
Wonderful. This has been so much fun, Alicia. Please
Thank
tell
you.
Edward that I missed
I
him.
will. I'm sorry. I'm sorry we missed him, but real estate, like I said, last minute calls. Gotta take them.
But we had a good time anyway, didn't we?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
You have a wonderful rest of your day. I wish
Thank
you the
you.
very best success and, hope that some of that success comes through the publishing of this magazine and the video recording.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a blessed evening. I appreciate
And
your time.
thank you, sweetie. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.